Aloha mai kako. Welcome to a new episode of What School You Went, where we start every conversation with that question. I'm Ron Mizutani, and today we're talking story with one of the hottest comedians in the entire country. And when I say hot, I mean this guy is smoking hot. And by the way, I'm not trying to get fresh, brother, but we welcome Tumua Tuinei to the program. Aloha Tumua. Welcome to PBS Hawaiʻi. It's so good to have you here, brother. I've wanted to have you in front of me for so long, and I'm glad you finally stopped by and made some time for us. First of all, I got to start off. What school you went?
I went Punahou High School. Yeah, unfortunately. Every time I tell people I went Punahou, they go, everything changes. I should have said I went Waianae, to make them feel a little bit better. Yeah. But yeah, I went Punahou, class of 2014, state champs, 11-0. Just had to mention that. Yeah, I had to mention that for those guys. Yeah. But I appreciate being here. What high school you went? That's a great, podcast name. I enjoy it because that is the first question everyone asks, especially if you're from Hawaii.
Exactly. If you were to ask that question on the U.S. mainland in most places, they would say their college.
Yeah. University of Arizona.
Right.
Yeah.
The Ohio State, whatever. Why do they do that? Why do they put the Ohio State? What is the D in there? You ever figure that out, being in sports?
No, I don't know.
You watch Monday Night Football.
Yeah, like the
Ohio State. You went to Ohio State.
To emphasize it.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome. And I'm a Kamehameha grad, so.
Oh, yeah, I was going to, you're Kamehameha?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to leave now then.
Me too, actually. No. We've had a few Punahou friends over.
Oh, for real?
I say, well, I won't hold that against you, my friend. But no, welcome.
Private school.
Roger that. Public school, awesome too, though. Yes. You've been doing comedy in the islands for several years now, and but your personality was always this vibrant, make people laugh. I understand, even at UH Manoa, that's where it all started. Imagine, even maybe at Punahou, maybe take us back in.
Yeah.
What were your early influences?
I never thought I would be a comedian, but when I was a younger kid, I was really into magic, like card magic, coin tricks. I actually used to perform at like baby luau's and little family parties. I had like a whole set I would do on stage, and my name was Kid Magic, so I had a stage name, and I was really into magic, and I think that planted a seed in me, and just to feel more comfortable performing in front of people. But yeah, I was always into magic when I was a little kid, and then when I got older, I got more into football and sports. Went to Punahou, super serious about football, never thought I'd be a comedian, but I enjoyed theater, I took theater at Punahou. I wanted to be an actor. That was one of my dreams too, if I didn't make it to the NFL, And then at UH, same thing, played football under Nick Rolovich, And then took theater as well, just for fun. And I found a stand-up comedy class in the theater department. And I seen that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They never did have all the years I was there. They only had it available for that one semester. I took it with me and my teammate, and we only had like 4 people in the class, So if 2 people went to the bathroom, we had to wait because half the class gone, right? So I took that, and then for our final presentation, we had to perform a live 10 minutes in front of an actual audience. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was at Anna O'Brien's, which is this Irish pub bar in town. And the whole football team showed up,
Awesome.
And then the comedy promoters like, well, this is the biggest crowd we ever had, because actually no one believed that I was doing comedy. They're like, well, Tumua's doing comedy. No way, this guy's so serious, he's so quiet, So they all came down. I killed the 10 minutes. Everyone exploded, And then the next day, the comedy promoter, Jose Dynamite, he runs a bunch of these smaller shows around here in Hawaii, asked me to come perform again for this other comedy show, and kept asking me, and then it's been about 5 years of doing stand-up, and I haven't stopped since.
Unbelievable. I'm going to ask you to take us back a little bit further, because your love for football obviously was very deep-rooted. The Tuinei name, as we all know, and your family, your goes very deep into football.
Right.
But I remember one time you said something about, you had the Tuinei bloodline. You definitely had the skill set. You had monster years at Punahou. Just if you ever go to YouTube and check out his reel, it's crazy how darn good you were. But the size factor was always something that you would joke about, because dad and uncle, and those are big human.
Yeah, about 6'5", and I'm still waiting for my growth spurt. Supposed to come next week Thursday, I think. That's what the doctor said. But even my brothers from my dad's side, they're like 6'3" and 6'5", my two brothers, you know, and then there's me, you know, 5'9". But that's okay.
Hey, there was a different purpose for you.
Right, yeah.
You know, and laughter is healing for many people.
It is, yeah.
It
And
really is.
I think like being an athlete and being from a football family and coming from a football mentality helped me a lot in like the comedy and entertainment world that I face today, because I like to use my discipline that I've been taught since football, you know, and it's very similar in my opinion, because like when you're preparing for a big show or when you're preparing for a big game, you know, you go to practice, you film your practice, you practice the plays. When you're preparing for a big comedy show, you know, you go to these smaller shows, which is like practices, and I film my comedy sets, you know, I listen to them, see where they have the biggest laughs, or maybe if I could tweak a word here and there. And then game day comes, the big day comes, you know, you're nervous, just like on a football field, you know, you get on stage, and as soon as you make that first hit or that first joke, that first laugh, the tension eases, and you just go right into it. Yeah, and it flows, yeah.
I want to we'll get deeper into your stand-up performances, because you've had consecutive sold-out shows. November's coming up, and you're going to have more sold-out shows already at the Blaisdell Concert Hall. But before that, you know, you made a real name because you worked hard at this on YouTube, and some of your skits are so hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
I've shared with those who are tuning in your Hawaiian Airlines flight attendant skit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, talk about spot on. How did that all come to be?
I just I ask around, you know, and I just experience it myself too. I fly Hawaiian a lot, you know, and Alaska. Shout out to Alaska Airlines. I don't like them get mad, but yeah, and it's just what we deal with. I want people to watch my videos and be like, I know that guy. You know?
Right.
He reminds me of my uncle. He reminds me of
My coach.
my dad, my coach,
My security guard.
security guard, right? My wife, my flight attendant.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Right.
So I want them to say that when they watch my video. So that's the main thing I try to do before I put out a video. I ask myself, is this relatable to my audience? You know, is it relatable to local people? And I just put it up. Yeah.
It's clean humor too.
Yeah.
And that's important for you.
It is.
Why?
Yeah. Just because you're in Hawaii, you know, Andy Bumatai, he told me if you want to make it big in Hawaii, you got to keep it clean, and that's what I did, you know, and that opens up a lot of opportunities, you know. I can perform at corporate events, weddings, anything, you know, and a lot of people at my show are just all ages. There's like little kids to like tutus and grandpas, you know. So it's good. I want people to come, but I don't want it to be like, oh, he's just like a squeaky clean comedian. Most of the people that come to my show, they don't realize I'm clean till afterwards, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. He never did say one F-bomb, or you know, or talk about this, talk about these taboo subjects, you know." So that's why I do that.
It's a smart approach to comedy, and especially in these days where, you know, vulgarity is a common practice. I mean, some comedians rely on it.
Yeah.
To get their message across and be funny.
Right.
When they're not really being funny at all, they're just being vulgar.
Laughing at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you know, I've been there and go, that wasn't that funny. But I listen to you, and I'm like going, that guy is funny.
Oh, thank you.
Super funny. You know, your material you say you get from everyday life, but at the same time, I look back and you talk about Bumatai.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy was the setter, the trendsetter. He set the bar.
Yeah.
Before that, rap, obviously rap. So who were some of your early influences besides Andy?
Those two guys, rap, Andy, even Augie T.
Yeah.
You know, for the people of Hawaii, is those three comics right there. It's just because they set the bar. You know, Andy made a big impact in Hawaii, even in the mainland. He ventured off over there, and I kind of want to follow in their footsteps, you know. But other comedians, like in the mainland, big fan of Richard Pryor, you know, old school comedy, just because he changed the game of stand-up comedy during that time. I'm a big fan of Joe Coy, you know, Sebastian Maniscalco, this is an Italian comedian, and Gabriel Iglesias is a few of my favorites.
So you have your own material, obviously, your own style. Do you tap into some of that? Because obviously you're football, you're an athlete. You study film. You study some of their techniques, styles.
Yeah. I watch a lot of comedy. You know, a lot of specials. I go to a lot of comedy shows in the mainland, and I just learn. You know, you always can get better. That's what I'm learning about being a stand-up comedian. The more years you do it, the better you are. And I've been only doing it for 5 years, and so I'm way still young in this comedy game, and I'm ready to learn more and soak it all in like a sponge, you know.
But you're performing it before live audiences, different from performing on camera with maybe your friend or whoever.
Yeah, yeah.
Who shot your videos?
Some of my friends, or my girlfriend, or my dad, anybody around, I just call them. You guys available to film? Sometimes it's on a tripod,
Right.
But people don't realize that I've been doing stand up before I did the videos. So like I never was into making these video skits or being an Instagram comedian. Nothing against people that are Instagram comedians. I have some friends, and I do that as well. But yeah, I was all into stand-up comedy. I want to be a real comedian, real audience, real performance. So I was doing that for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then the pandemic hit. Right. I had a monthly show at Honey's Restaurant at Ko'olau Golf Course. I performed there every second Fridays of the month, and people would come out. I had a good crowd, a good following. Some shows would sell out here and there. So it was it held like maybe 150 people or so. And then the pandemic hit. That got shut down. All these small comedy shows, these weekly shows that Jose Dynamite runs in town, all got shut down too. All the spots I would practice at, all got shut down during the pandemic. And I was at home thinking like, am I just gonna sit here and not do anything, or am I gonna be a positive guy? So. Everyone's like, bro, just do some funny videos. You gotta do videos. So I did this I think it was this toilet paper video where I was like a drug dealer. I was dealing toilet paper just funny. For fun, me and my dad, And then that video went viral. It went on the news that night actually. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what the local people want, And I kept going, kept pumping out skits, like maybe one or two videos a week. And then when we finally had the green light to do some live shows, I did it at Blue Note, Hawaii, and it was like 75% capacity, so to hold about 200 people. And I was only scheduled to do one show. I put the show on sale, and it like sold out immediately. And that was the first time I experienced like a sellout that quick. So I was like, oh, what do we do? What's going on? So we added another show, boom, sold out. Another show, sold out. Ended up doing 18 shows in a row at Blue Note during the pandemic. And that was a crazy experience just to feel that, And I was talking with my manager, Greg Azuz, and he's like, oh, we could just easily do like the Blaisdell concert hall, but it was closed at the time. They weren't allowing that. The only Blue Note was like the only spot that was allowing these shows with the glass they had on the stage. It's crazy, And then that was in 2020. And then 2021 we got the green light to do the concert hall at the Blaisdell. Said, okay, well, we'll do a live show, And I was like one of the first shows to come back, and I think it was Joe Coy and then me like 2 weeks after. But his didn't have alcohol. Mine had alcohol, so that was like a real live show,
Yes.
Then when I put that on sale for the Blaisdell Concert Hall, it was 2,100 seater. That sold out in less than an hour, and that was like, this is my dream right there. So I added another show of that, so I ended up doing 3 sold out shows at the concert hall in 2021, and then just haven't stopped.
It's been consecutive sellouts since.
Yeah, and then I went on tour in the mainland, performed there, and then now I'm gonna make my way to the arena, which is next month.
Very good. And that sold out too.
The first one, yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
We're getting questions coming in. By the way, you're my guinea pig. We're on Twitch today.
Twitch. So. Okay. Gotta Twitch out then.
Yeah. No, but hey, welcome to the Twitch audience. Send your questions in, and I'll get it to Tumua. This person wants to know, and I was actually going to ask you this: what are your goals for the future, and where do you want comedy to take you? You mentioned you wanted to also be an actor.
Yeah.
What's your long-term goal?
Obviously, I want to get a big comedy special in a big production, maybe like Netflix or HBO or Hulu or whatever picks it up, And I'm kind of working on that right now, and to be an actor too, if I can land a big role somewhere. I did a small role on NCIS Hawaii last year. I had like a few lines I had to read, but yeah, I don't mind getting into acting and maybe a big Netflix special, and just making my audience grow bigger and bigger, going to bigger venues in the mainland, and just keep doing that.
Your comedy is relatable here at home. When you go on the mainland, I mean, I'm sure the transplants who lived in the islands attend, and they love that. They crave the Hawaiian music, the Hawaiian humor. But your comedy is streaming as far as reaching audiences because it is relatable. No matter, even if it's just Kani Ala, the flight attendant, or just your jokes. Right. I mean, that's huge, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, to make that kind of an impact in this world vulgarity when it comes to comedy, but you doing it the way you're doing it. Congratulations, bro. That's not easy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, are they gonna understand my humor? Like, are they gonna understand my pidgin?" But it's all the same thing. Funny is funny, you know. People don't want to see like the typical white comic or the typical black comic. That's like 80s, 70s comedy. They want
Nothing wrong with the 80s and the 70s.
yeah.
No.
They want like uniqueness, you know. They want culture and that, you know, like Joe Coy, he pretty like puts the Philippines on the map and the Filipinos, you know. So my goal is just to put the Hawaiians and the local people, the Samoans, the Polynesian community on the map and show everyone that, you know, we have this certain type of comedy here that is very funny, you know, and I want you guys to understand that. And it's the same thing, like whatever I do with my dad, it could be like this country guy in Wyoming deals with the same thing.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
We all, you know, just different place.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're saying Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph. I love when Coy. But
right.
To me, you're as funny as Joe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question just came in. Who is Kyoki in your skits?
Oh, Kyoki. Yeah, he's at work today right now. But yeah, Kyoki is like my just my friend that like no one sees. You know. What was that? Was
it based on a true guy though?
No. Just
multiple people.
Just multiple people. What was that TV show where it shows the fence, the guy's half face?
Tim the Tool Man or something like that.
Something like that. Like he's always mentioned in my skits, but no one sees him.
The neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor. Yeah. So similar to that.
Yeah, that's where you got that from, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. And just like, I just had him, I mentioned him in one video, and then people kept commenting, oh, Kyoki. And so I just did like a little Easter egg in every video. I would have him mention in there or blame him for something. Kyoki, yeah.
So funny. Thank you.
But Kyoki's the man, though. Kyoki's the man.
Okay, another question coming in. They're pouring in, brother, right now. How does local comedy translate to the mainland? We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And again, to make that transition is key. I mean, that's what made Bumatai so funny.
Right.
That he was able to take that humor,
yeah,
localize it, and people embrace it.
Yeah, there's a few things like I don't go like super local in the mainland. You know, I wouldn't talk about like things that only Hawaii people understand. Because there is, when I do shows in the mainland, there is majority local people there because they live up there now. You know, just because the cost of living was too high or for whatever reason they moved up there. And like you said, they're eager for this Hawaiian entertainment, the jokes, the music. They want to come. So the shows up there is real fun, and it feels like I'm in Hawaii, you know. But there is some like friends they bring along that don't know nothing about Hawaii, and they're learning and they're laughing along too. So I make it universal for everyone when I go up there, and it's just an overall great show.
It is. It really is. It's kind of like this program we're doing right now. What's We Went, right? When we came up with the concept of a program that a podcast. First of all, I didn't know what the heck a podcast was, but What's You Went? That's the local way, right? That starts conversations. But
that's how you start.
Right now, I guarantee we're getting listeners from Japan, Europe. They tune in.
Oh,
They're
wow,
watching right now, or listening right now.
That's awesome, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Now we have Twitch with us. Another question coming in. What advice do you? Good one. What advice do you have for up and coming comedians, local and Hawaii?
I would say for like stand-up comedians, I'd say the main thing is just to get on stage. You know, go to these open mics. There's a lot of open mics here in Hawaii. If you're in Hawaii, I'm sure if you're in the mainland, just Google open mics near me, and just get on stage and do that. That's the hardest part, is just getting on stage and performing.
Okay, I gotta ask, because not every joke's gonna be a hit.
Yeah.
Right. And Bumatai always talked about that's what he would watch Johnny Carson, is when the audience wouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
How he responded.
Right.
How do you respond to a joke that you thought was gonna nail it, and then maybe a different audience would have laughed?
Yeah,
but this one said,
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think now that I've been doing it for about 5 years, I've kind of known how to recover myself. You know, just I do a lot of crowd work. I talk to the crowd, people in the crowd, and interact with them. So before I never did do that. When I was like 1 or 2 years in, I would just do strictly material, and I was afraid to interact with the crowd. But now I'm just comfortable with them and talking with them. So if a joke doesn't land, you know, I kind of know how to just, you know, maybe jump to another subject or talk to someone about it, and then it would veer off to another subject, or just talk like they're like, oh, just maybe pull out a paper, but I thought that would work. I'm not gonna say that again. You know, there's little tricks you can do.
It's like the bootleg that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That play, at least for this game.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, there was a comedian, the late Mel Kabang. He was super funny.
I remember him.
But Mel was Mel was a little more edgy.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
his comedy was pretty vulgar sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And he would really work the crowd.
Right,
I mean,
right.
in fact, he would rely on the crowd for his material.
Yeah,
He was that skilled.
that's the best. Yeah.
And it worked. You know, and
Awesome.
don't you dare go shishi or go lua during,
Yeah, yeah.
during his performance because
He'll pick on you
he
with the
has
light.
he has his flashlight and everything. But that's a skill that you
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
with
yeah.
repetition.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're
That's
going to
exactly
get even
that.
better at it as you continue with
Yeah.
your career. Good question. Another question from our audience on Twitch. Any interest in adding magic to your show?
I thought about it. You know, my mom keeps telling me to add that in, but it's tough with like because I have to try to make it funny, you know. But I thought about it. I think I did it one time at this small show, and it didn't. I didn't like how it came out. Just because it's like, are they supposed to laugh or be amazed, you know? But yeah, that's maybe I could figure out a way to do something, you know, in there. But right now, I'll just keep it separate.
Brother, you've achieved so much in the short time, yet I'm talking story with you right now, and you're just not a brother from Punahou, albeit. No. But just your success has not changed who you are.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to, remain humble, or something my dad always told me, and I think I do have a lot more to accomplish, you know, and I'm still young with the comedy game. Like Joe Coy's been doing it for almost 30 years. Augie T been almost around that time too. Andy, they all accomplished a lot more things than me, and I just wanna, you know, I feel like I got a lot more to prove.
Mm-hmm. You know, with Joe Coy, he's international now, right? I
Yeah.
mean, not just locally. Over here, he sells out all the shows.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he could probably make a living just performing in Hawaii, but you know, he's found a way to take a niche or being unique.
Yep.
With the Filipino background, and he uses it as his comedy. In fact, his family is a part of his show oftentimes.
Yeah.
Do you pull your family into some of the things that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk about, you know, my parents a lot, my family members, just the things I experienced at UH, Punahou, growing up, and just try to be relatable to Hawaii people, you know?
What do you think is? Because local people can be tough.
Yeah.
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 As far as a live audience.
Right.
And you're gonna have one brought over there, probably in the front row, going,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, making big body or whatever.
It is, yeah.
How do you approach an audience member who's maybe almost sizing you up? How do you deal with that?
Just talk to them about it. I'll just talk to them directly. If I seen someone like that, I'll say, my goal is to make this brother laugh right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do anything. I'm gonna tickle your feet if you're not gonna laugh, or something like that. And I usually would get them the crack, you know, or I just talk about maybe their gold chain they're wearing, or where you got that from, swap meet, or something like that, you know. You know, but local people, they're fun. That's the best crowd is local people, because when they laugh loud.
Yes.
And I mentioned this earlier on another interview that Hawaii is the only place where we can make fun of different races, you know, in today's age.
Right.
You know, you do that somewhere else in the mainland, it's going to be considered racist, you know, but that's just how us local people do our jokes. If we get offended if we don't tease our race, you know, so I like that we can still do that here in Hawaii and not get canceled with all these crazy cancel cultures, you know.
That's part of our humor.
Yeah, part of our humor.
I mean, the Beamer brothers wrote a song about it.
Yep.
You know, and Mr. Sancholi.
Yeah.
All the skies we tease
Yep.
about our race. Another question, and this is actually an interesting question. If you could have lunch with anyone, dead or alive, who would that be?
I'd probably have, I'm a big Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah.
Probably have lunch with him, or Elvis too, you know, just because those guys, when I see those guys, they're like the most famous people in the world, you know, and I just want to see, like, pick their brain a little bit, you know. Yeah,
that's an interesting two selections. I mean, they were the two of the biggest icons in their disciplines, if you will.
Right.
And achieve great success. Yeah, if I had a chance.
Yeah, who would you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Not that it was meant for me, but I would, you know, there's a part of me that I would love to sit down with King David Kalakaua. I mean, and just, you know, just listen.
Yeah.
And such. Although Michael Jackson would be fun too.
Yeah.
Right. You know, we're going back to your UH football days, because even then I heard that you were making the fellas laugh, even though your stand-up was just growing. When I took theater in UH, and I did America in the 80s.
Yeah.
They didn't have a stand-up class.
Yeah.
How cool is that? And I know you said you only had 4 classmates, but I mean, who taught that?
This teacher named Nick Murray. He's also he was a local comedian here, but he lives in Oregon now, I believe, or somewhere in the mainland. But yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, what are we gonna learn? Like, what is this?
Right.
I thought we were just gonna watch like comedy specials and maybe learn joke formulas, But in the class, they require you to do like 6 open mics to perform at like these bars and stuff. So when I first seen that in the first day of class, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to sign up for this. I didn't know we have to go out and perform. I thought we just gonna come to class.
Your own material.
Your own material, yeah.
Wow.
So they pretty much like teach you how to find your voice and find your humor, and we would just tell jokes in class and they would give their feedback. Like,
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a class. It's elevated stuff, though,
Yeah.
It's not like doing lab work. I mean, you're out there
Yeah.
and you're going to either do it or you're going to die.
Yeah.
Your jokes do work or not. Yeah, the questions are pouring in, and I tell them, you folks, please keep coming in and firing away. We'll do some rapid questions here. Okay. Do you think comedy connects people in what way?
I think it's similar to like music. It's something that we all can experience together. Like there's no greater feeling than the whole room laughing at something that you created and that everyone caught on. And laughing is contagious. You see someone laugh, you want to laugh with them, and it makes you feel good too. It's the best form of medicine. So.
It is. It's healing.
Yeah.
Now that you're recognizable, what is it like going out to public? How can you go zippies without somebody asking you to be?
Yeah, it's been getting kind of hectic. A lot of people come up to me and ask for pictures, or just people yell my name out when they're driving and stuff like that. So it's fun. I never turn down a fan. I appreciate that because they got me to where I am today. All my fans. So it's fun.
Bumatai, when he made it big, but he did some TV things. He did High School Days.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, Bumatai, on the top. And he goes, yeah, work hard to get there. But really, he had something on top of his car.
The car, yeah.
But top 3 comedians for you and why?
Top 3 comedians. Yeah, I'd say Richard Pryor. Dave Chappelle, good comedian, and I'd probably go with Gabriel Iglesias, just because
different types of
yeah.
In different eras, actually, too.
Right, yeah.
Good for you. This is a funny one. You sure this never come from you, Jesse? Okay, I have an idea for you. Everybody always has an idea for your act. How can I share it with you? Are you open to other people's material?
Yeah. A lot of people, come up to me, especially my mom. She thinks she's a joke writer, but she just pulled a key. Same thing. Yeah.
So, but do you listen to people's ideas? Is there a way they can just drop you on your social media or?
Yeah, you could DM me or email me. Why is there someone says anything there or no?
I don't know, Jesse. You didn't leave your email address. Jesse Makadang is on our audio tonight. Hey, you have a huge following on social. I mean, COVID really changed things.
Yeah.
That really opened doors. I mean, Lopaka Kapanui, who was the ghost storyteller. I mean, he couldn't go out and tell stories, so he opened up a different world.
Yeah.
And it really made him huge. Comedy the same way for you. Your social media, you have 300,000 followers, maybe even more by now. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. You're huge on social media. That's a very different platform too.
It is, yeah. It's today's marketing, Back then, just because like when I said I didn't want to be a Instagram comedian, but because back then the comedians, they would do comedy and then they would do movies, and that's how they would get popular, become actors. So it's like the new time of age now where you do comedy and then you do these skits, some mainline comics do that. And that I push everything to my stand-up show, so that's like my advertisement is just doing those videos and gaining more followers, and then people will be like, oh, he's performing in Seattle next week. I gotta go check him out, So it's all pushed towards the stand-up, but yeah, social media is huge. I'm very thankful for it. I'm blessed because comedians back then didn't have that route. You have to go the hard way, just get word of mouth. Like Andy Bumatai was all spread through word of mouth. Now it's like so quick. You can become popular so fast.
You can be viral overnight.
Yeah, overnight. Yeah.
But how to sustain that is important.
Yeah, you got to maintain it. Yeah.
If you could perform or collaborate with anyone, who would that be?
I like to perform with Sebastian Maniscalco. He's one of my favorite comedians. This Italian comedian, and I like his style, and it's very relatable to family. And I'd like to just pick his brain and see how he writes jokes and how he just deals with all this success.
Speaking of writing jokes, do you write your jokes down? I always wondered how that worked with material, or
Yeah.
some of it is like you said. Some of the videos you did were ad lib on the
Yeah,
fly.
most of my videos are ad lib. Like I would have the idea of the video, and I'll just get someone to film and record, and then would just ad lib, and I'll just take out the funny parts of the video and post that, because I feel like that's just where the funny comes out.
Right.
But when I do stand up, I have like a joke in my mind. When I come up with a joke, I would write down the joke or the premise of the joke, go to one of these smaller clubs, practice the joke, pretty much just riff about the joke. So just say anything, because when you're on stage, you have like this fight or flight mentality. Only now I'm realizing this. Before I used to write everything word for word, say it word for word on stage. But now it's like I have the idea, or maybe I want to talk about, shopping at Walmart. So I'll just have the idea, and I'll go to one of these smaller clubs, and I would just write it out on stage pretty much.
But
Yeah.
local people provide you with the endless gift of giving, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you see sister in the front row with her gold
Gold
bracelets
chain,
and whatever. And there's
there's
so
so
much
much
material right
thing
in front
to
of you.
yeah. So but when you're on stage, like I said, you have that fight or flight mentality, and you're just like fighting to get a laugh. When your back is against the wall, you'll do anything to get a laugh, and you can't do that at home when you're writing.
Right.
So that's why I like to just write the idea at home and then go on stage and figure it out, and then record myself and be like, oh, there you go, that's the joke. But I could never think of that being at home. It only happened in the moment when everyone's looking at me like, okay, make me laugh. So
That's I can only imagine what that's like. Talk about fight or flight. This kind of sets the tone here. Do you have pre-stage jitters? And if so, how do you manage? How do you handle Randall?
Oh yeah, I mean, everybody has pre-stage jitters. I feel like it's good to be nervous. It makes you alert. It humbles you. I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm not nervous and like, this is a piece of cake, I can do this, because that's when you're gonna get humbled, and everything's gonna go bad. So I enjoy being nervous. I don't even know how I deal with it. I use a bathroom a lot before I go on stage. I pace myself, I pray a lot. And then, but yeah, once I get on stage and I land that first couple jokes, and then the tension goes away, and I just have fun with the audience.
Yeah, I imagine anybody who performs or has to execute, whether it be an
Right.
athlete, a comedian, myself as a journalist for years, people would ask me, do you get nervous before you do the news? And I told them for 33 years, I got nervous every night.
Every night, yeah.
Every night, and I had butterflies.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
that same
butterflies.
excitement. It wasn't fright, but it was just this
Yeah,
nervous excitement to go out, not perform, because I read the news, but
Right.
to deliver.
Yeah.
Right? And how do you manage that? You just do. And sometimes, you sometimes, in my own way, I had my own kinds of anxiety, but this is a different game for you. So it's awesome to hear. Thanks. That was a great question.
Yeah.
Good one. I don't know if you can share this with us, but can you tell us one joke that flopped?
One joke that flopped. Yeah, it was one of my first jokes I've written. I said, I think I said, this is like maybe my second night performing. I said, I had a different style too. I wasn't very monotone, and I wasn't being myself. I thought that's how you have to be, So I think I said, I'm a very successful comedian. I started off as that. And then I said, my last show I did, I had a standing ovation, but I realized there was no seats in the crowd. And there was only 3 people in the crowd or something, and one of them was my mom or something, but no one was laughing, and I said that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so something like that, but yeah, that was one of my old jokes that I just...
You put it away.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
That's okay. You made me laugh.
I think it was just a style,
Yeah, I'm good for somebody's ego. I laugh at everything. I laugh at everything. It's talking about comedians with monotone. Stephen Wright did it. He would talk like this. And,
Yeah.
Hey, come, stay. That was the name of his dog. Come, stay. But it worked. Okay. Oh, good one. Talk about mom and dad. Was your dad always comfortable on camera? He is a natural comedian. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of the stuff that I film with my dad is situations that actually happened. So he experienced it.
The
too.
driving one.
Driving one. I did a recent one with me, him I'm helping him fix the car with the flashlight like that. So that was one that we just recently did. That, but yeah, it's natural. Sometimes, yeah, the driving one, like he was yelling at me, even when the camera, like he was actually getting mad, like just to tell you guys, like because we were driving, we were driving,
shooting.
on an actual road, and a car was like honking too, and he was getting, I could tell he was getting mad, and then the camera stopped, and he was still yelling. I was like, Dad, the video done already.
That one was funny too, guys. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube.
YouTube,
It's funny, and anybody who's taught their child how to drive, or a child who has been learned from their parent, usually mainly their dad, you can relate. You can relate, because I was definitely that person in the chair and as a dad chair. If you weren't a comedian, what would Tumua Tuinei be doing?
I love sports. I love football. You know, I mean, I tried to make it as far as I could in football. My goal was to be in the NFL like my dad and my uncle. I thought about coaching football too. You know, I actually did coach a little bit, some youth football, and I helped out at Yale High School for a little bit. But yeah, I think I would probably pick up coaching if I wasn't into comedy or the acting road. I kind of put that together as one, you know, because if I wasn't doing comedy, I would try to be an actor. But yeah, if it couldn't be any of those two, I would probably do coaching.
Yeah, I think you'd be a heck of a coach.
Yeah.
Very relatable. And certainly somebody that people can look and connect with. You know, what your father and uncle did in their professional lives, but you know, your roots of an athlete go way deeper than the Tuinei blood, and just so much excitement that the Tuinei family has provided through the years, and now you're taking us on a different route, and setting your own legacy, and just awesome. You know, we really are proud of you, of the man that you are, the comedian that you are, the style that you've chosen, your approach, and stay true to that, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah. I'm very, very blessed, and I'm happy what I do. You know, everybody said find a job that you love doing. You know, I'm sure you love your job, and yeah, I think I found something that I really love.
Right on, right on. Do we have any more questions? No more questions. I want to thank the Twitch audience for joining us. Pretty active crew.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, and you know, again, continued success to you, Tumua. Never forget your roots, which I know it's instilled in you by your parents and in your family. Despite being a Punahou grad, it's okay. There is a life after Punahou.
There is.
No, I wish you only the best.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
And Kani'ala does the same. All right, mahalo nui for joining us, folks. Join us next time, another episode of What School You Went. Until next time, ahui ho.